countdown is on to their meeting in the ring.
Wow.
But the story of their journey there was anything but complete.
Yeah.
As the two best fighters in the world risk everything for history.
Is there a fighter in the world that can beat Bud Crawford? I ain't came across him yet. Everything happened for a reason, and I truly and firmly believe the reason for me to be in this situation right now is to become 3-time undisputed champion of the world.
I'm here in boxing to make history, and winning for me means a lot in this fight because he's one of the best in the last 15 years. He accomplished a lot, and I accomplished a lot, and I think it's a perfect match.
I was excited, but I wasn't like, oh, I beat Spence, or I didn't. It was something that I already knew was gonna happen. I just needed the opportunity to show everyone.
He is willing to take a risk. This is literally uncharted territories for Terence Crawford.
I don't care. He can weigh 200. That's gonna be bad on him.
Don't let anyone tell you that the weight doesn't matter. It makes this a monumental accomplishment for Crawford.
Putting on muscle don't actually mean that you're gonna be slower, but you punch a little harder.
Yeah. Now I feel it. It's different. When we spar, it's a whole different. But now he got the power. He's always had power, but now it's a different power, man. And he still got the speed and the movement and agility is crazy, man. So his movement ain't nothing changed, man. They gonna see, man. And I wish it was September 12th right now. It'll be tomorrow. But we got 2 weeks. We got 2 weeks from tomorrow. Everybody gonna see. It's gonna be groundbreaking. It's gonna be something like a spaceship landed on Earth.
Crawford's sparring partner recently disclosed that this time, something feels entirely different. Strength, velocity, and movement on a higher plane. Canelo is now heading straight into that maelstrom and toward a bout that has the potential to rock the sport like never before. Spike, Crawford's coach, intervened in the meantime with his own audacious assurance. Everything is going to work, he said. Everything will work out flawlessly. He weighs a healthy amount. He has healthy legs. He has a keen mind. We completed our assignments. Everything will work out just fine. It went beyond confidence. It sounded as though it were certain. Everything had previously been precisely honed, including thinking and weight. You could sense the stillness before the storm in the way Spikes presented it, as though nothing had been left to chance. Canelo is up against more than simply Crawford. He is entering a group of people who think that fate has already been decided, and the globe might see a night that redefines what's possible within the ring when that bell tolls. Spikes then gave everyone a reality check, emphasizing that size isn't the only factor at play.
Now, first and foremost, Canelo is a smart fighter. Like, people are more concerned looking at the size, but Canelo is an intelligent boxer. There's always a method to what he's doing. So let me just make that clear. We're not going in there just looking at size. Canelo is smart. Canelo set traps. He has good timing, solid defense. You know what I mean? And, you know, it's respect given to Canelo and everything that he's accomplished. He's seen every style. He's overcome a lot of obstacles that he's been faced with. So I don't want the narrative, you know, I see that the narrative is size, but Canelo is a smart fighter in his own right. However, like I told you before, our IQ, our toolbox, same situation I told you last time. Picking the right tool at the right time is going to beat this guy. We're prepared for every situation possible, whether it's on the rope, center of the ring, wherever you want to put it. We're prepared for any and every scenario. Come fight me.
He was aware that Canelo's power lay not just in his physical prowess, but also in his mental toughness, timing, defense, and traps, things that demolish opponents long before the knockout. Spikes, however, made it apparent that they have sharpened Crawford's intellect to meet and beyond that task. It's not only muscle versus muscle in this battle. It's an IQ on IQ fight of strategies. Furthermore, it only takes one misstep for everything to change when two brilliant brains encounter. That's where the actual risk is. Because of this, Fight Night may turn the script in unexpected ways. He went on to mention Canelo's training partners, but Spikes confidently dismissed it. It didn't matter to him who was on the other side. Who was standing in their own gym was the issue. They think that every scenario is already covered by Crawford's planning. Just the unvarnished truth beneath the lights, without any headwear or justifications. Although sparring may give some people an advantage, it cannot foretell the ring's mayhem. Spike came across as a man who was confident in his team system. It gave the impression that Crawford is already ahead of schedule. The topic of discussion then turned to history and the reality that size may be erased by competence.
With these type of fights, it's usually people look at it as like the smaller fighter usually has to box and move. A lot of people is drawing comparisons to like Leonard and Hagler or any type of other fighter moving up. And the big key of it is speed. Is there truth behind all that? I know that speed's always a component of all of it, but more than normal because of the fact that
I'm gonna say styles make fights. Styles make fights. Littler guys with more skill have beaten bigger guys over the years. Like it's happened. Like you said, Sugar Ray Leonard and Marvin Hagler. You could say when Michael Spinks moved to heavyweight, he was a light heavyweight champion. Evander Holyfield was a light heavyweight cruiserweight champion. Usyk is a smaller guy. It's not a natural. I mean, he's grown into the weight now, but he's beating bigger guys with his boxing skill. I mean, it goes on and on. Skills pay the bills at the end of the day. It's just about being prepared, having a good game plan, and having the right dog in the race. You know what I mean? And that's what matters.
The narrative has been the same from Leonard to Usyk. Giants are shocked by smaller, more intelligent men. Spikes reminded everyone that math isn't used in boxing. It takes skill, timing, and emotion. Despite Canelo's size, ability transcends the limitations of reach and weight. Crawford isn't merely there to fight. He is coming to change the script. And history demonstrates that legends can be overthrown by underdogs equipped with the proper resources. Canelo is now under that shadow. After that, Spikes revealed that sparring wasn't always simple.
Match him off was a tricky style. He did a lot of feints. He wasn't committing. He was very patient. You know, this is a completely different style from what Canelo is going to bring. So, you know, Mazurov gave us a little bit of difficulty. He came to win. He came prepared, but we overcame the obstacle. You know, and that's just that. That's in the past, and you know we're looking towards Canelo.
Canelo that you guys will be facing?
I can't say. I can't get into that. But I'm gonna say that I love Bivol. I love Dimitri Bivol. He's one of my favorite fighters. He lost to a hell of a fighter. He lost to a future Hall of Famer, and you know that's just that. There's nothing I can really say about that. He didn't lose to a regular guy. He lost to a pound for pound elite fighter. and a bigger guy at that. So, I mean, that's not much that I can really say about that. But as far as his improvements, he's shown some things, but you know, we'll see us exploit them.
Madrimov's devious approach drove him to delve farther, adjust, and hone every nuance. It served as a test and a reminder that overcoming challenges is the path to success. However, that difficulty just made Crawford more resilient for the future. Canelo won't hesitate or have fainting episodes. He will bring flames, and Crawford's actual preparation will be exposed in that fire. Spike acted as though the storm they encountered during training was merely a foreshadowing of the impending conflict. The topic of Canelo's prior defeats then came up. Spikes also told the truth without holding back.
Sparring bigger guys since he was 14, 15 years old. So size doesn't matter. You know what I mean? It's a skill. It's what you got up here and it's what you got here. Everything else will fall into.
He underlined that although Canelo did fall, Spikes was careful to portray it as a loss of grandeur rather than weakness. Although respect was shown, fear is not the same as respect. They have examined Canelo's advancements and every modification he has made since. Spikes also promised that the same advancements would be transformed into opportunities. On fight night, the focus will be on who manipulates the present rather than the past. Spikes also alluded to Crawford as that man. Next, Spikes dispelled one of the main misconceptions about the fight: size.
One thing for sure is Canelo is going to feel his power. Canelo is going to respect Bud Crawford. He's not going to be able to just walk through him and whatever he thinks. You know what I mean? Bud is a very strong fighter. He's a very good puncher. And like I said before, this is going to be the key in this. Punching power, speed, timing, all that's good. But it's a mental game.
Size is just another illusion to him. Years ago, one Crawford broke. He has confronted bigger, stronger men since he was a teenager, and he has never flinched. What is in the heart and what is in the head are important. The true battle is won there, not on the scales. Spikes gave it to Canelo as a warning that when skill takes over, his weight won't help him. Additionally, the smaller man may deliver the stronger blow in that ring. Spikes gave Canelo one terrifying promise before leaving the room.
People gotta understand, man, like every fight is different. There's so many perspectives and so many things that go on. And not to reveal everything, but that fight was that fight. This fight for Canelo, man, like, it's not fight night yet, but him moving up, people are going to be surprised. Dude is not like, it's not like he's a small guy and he just put on a whole bunch of weight. Like, but he's a bigger friend. He always been bigger. He always had to cut down. He always had to cut down to them weights. So now he gets the difference from this fight is he won't have to cut down. He just go in the ring. You look at all this weights for all the other fights, it's 168, 170. So when he fought 154, he was like 170, 172 going in the ring. So he's gonna go in there the same way this fight. He's strong, man.
Canelo will understand that Crawford isn't meant to be taken lightly the once they exchange leather. Power, timing, and speed were all honed to penetrate even the most resilient defense. However, Spikes trusts the mental edge more than fists. Nelson then changed the subject, explaining why the fans have never witnessed a bout like this one with Canelo. He spoke with a conviction that compels you to pause and pay attention.
As far since I've been boxing, but even before I spar, but I always spar bigger guys. You know, he's Lester Martinez, the other heavyweights and light heavyweights and middleweights, where he can get, man. And he always hold himself down. He always hold his ground, man. And people just don't know until they get in the ring. And they always say, just like everyone said, man, Bud Power is real. It's real, man. And it's like, he will say what he can and shouldn't, couldn't, haven't been. Like, that's what makes people great. Anybody that's ever been great, they always did something that people didn't expect.
Right.
And that's going to be Bud. He's going to do something that nobody is expecting. A lot of people is expecting are real supporters, but a lot of people who's a doubter are going to be like, dang. Or they're going to come up with excuses.
Crawford will not enter the game as an underdog. This is a Bud that refuses to be restrained or drained, a combatant entering the ring with all of their might. Nelson described a man who was made for this weight and for this particular time. Additionally, Canelo might be in for a nasty shock if he believes that his stature will be an advantage. Since we won't know until the first punch is delivered, the tension increases with each word. But when it does, the world will realize how serious this battle is. Nelson later revealed further details about Crawford, including an aspect of him that most people are never able to witness. Man, it was history, not hype.
The initial conversation was warranted. He's really moving up 3 weight classes since his last fight at 147 with Errol Spence roughly about 2 years ago. So it's really a 3 weight class jump. I think what people have to understand, and I had to understand this when I moved up to face Sergey Kovalev, I went and I consulted with Mackie Shieldstone. And I kept using the phrase, I'm moving up in weight. I'm moving up in weight. I got to get my body ready to move up in weight. He said, have you seen the scale lately? Have you looked at your body scan lately? And I think at that time I was like maybe 185, 188. He said, you're not moving up in weight. You're just cutting less. And that was like, man, that was transformative for me because I looked and I was like, man, you're right. So technically I'm moving up weight classes, or a weight class in my case, but I'm really not moving up in weight. I'm just not having to boil myself down.
Bud began challenging himself against giants in the gym at a young age, going head-to-head with much bigger and stronger men. That is where the confidence we see today was born and the steel was forged. Nelson's admonition was significant. It takes overcoming the hurdles to achieve true greatness. Crawford has always been trailed by the murmurs of skepticism, but there have also been times when they were silenced. Nelson made a suggestion this time, saying the sport could be shaken by the silence. Then, using his own experience going up weight classes, Andre Ward took over. The story was entirely turned upside down by what he said regarding Crawford's predicament.
Stronger, and I think he's going to have better endurance. Not being able to boil himself down like that. And even though it is a huge jump, I think we lose sight of the fact of how much he had to boil down and how gaunt he looked at 140. And even quickly at 147, it got to the point where you start to cut into muscle mass. If you know anything about weight loss, at a certain point, that affects you in a boxing ring. Boxing, maybe wrestling, and MMA are the only sports where you have to tear yourself down for two months or 3 months, not just the training, but the weight loss. And then you have less than or right around 24 hours to put it back on. And then you need to go be great the next night. Everybody else gets to play or compete at their walking around weight or their playing weight. So I think that's going to favor Terence Crawford is not having to boil down 25 or 20. It's probably going to be about 10 to 12.
It has nothing to do with gaining weight or bulking up. The goal was to be free of the cut at last. Crawford isn't carrying a burden. Ward made plain. He's losing one. This man isn't venturing into uncharted area. A man is stepping into his element. Once the bell rings, that kind of distinction makes all the difference because your mind fights without hesitation when your body feels whole. And Crawford Canelo will have to deal with that version of himself. Ward continued after that. He explained why Crawford might be more resilient and incisive than ever.
I think a couple of things are true. I think number one, I think Father Time is catching up to Canelo, but it's subtle. A little less punch output than normal. Maybe the reflexes have weaned just a little bit, but he's still better than most fighters in the world today. I don't think the Skull fight was a matter of age. I think Canelo Alvarez is extremely crafty, not just in the ring, but up here. And it's similar to a football team scrimmaging early in preseason. I'm not pulling out the playbook. I'm gonna give you some mundane vanilla plays. We'll run some power left or some power right. We'll do a couple of slants. We'll show a little bit, but when we play you in the season, it's not going to be the same guy that you saw. So if people think that they're getting the Canelo Alvarez that fought Crawford, they're sadly mistaken. I think Canelo did just what he had to do. But when you face a real threat and you're a great fighter, you elevate mentally, psychologically, physically, because you have to. Canelo Alvarez is going to be different come September.
Boiling down is no longer an endless job. No more muscle peeling. No more entering the ring exhausted. Ward reminded everyone that while fighters endure a system that pushes them to the limit, most athletes compete at their natural weight. Crawford has experienced that life and is now leaving it behind. He changes into a new animal when he has more stamina, strength, and time to devote only to fighting. And you have a risky recipe when you combine competence with new endurance. The man Ward sees waiting for Canelo is that one. Ward looked straight at Canelo, and his words were essentially a warning.